Unfortunately, I feel like the strategy of the Democratic Party has been to kind of hope that the Republicans will do the right thing, that they will do the patriotic thing and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This is a false belief that the Conservative Party was founded on a love for the Constitution, for a patriotism to uphold the Constitution. This is false, and I will prove it in this video. We ask ourselves, why was it that Senator Adam Schiff invited the January 6th cop to the certification if they weren't going to object? And I think it was maybe to put some little emotion strings at the Republicans' butts that would assume that they even care about upholding the Constitution, because the only reality that January 6th was a problem was because it was against the constitutional authority. However, if you don't care about the Constitution, then you don't care about the January 6th cop. Now let's go through why exactly is the Republican Party anti-American, and more particularly the conservative ideology is anti-American, and what's going to help me with this is, in my own opinion, but Speaker of the House Mike Johnson's 7 core principles of conservatism that can be found on his website. So I'm not making this up. They literally put this out loud in the internet. They literally say this out loud in their speeches. They literally really value these things. But what you're going to learn here is that it is inherently anti-American. Why? Because America only exists because of the 1789 ratification of the United States Constitution, but they think that we exist because of 1776, that is the Declaration of Independence, which yes, but that's not binding under constitutional law on Article 6 Supremacy Clause, but they don't actually care about the rule of law under the constitutional supremacy. That's why they uphold this tyrant right. They want back the Articles of Confederation, that's 1777, the one that our founding fathers said, this doesn't work, no taxation, reduced government spending, and a weaker federal government, all things that this administration wants to do. And at the core of it is their secret police, the Department of Government Efficiency, which basically just is gutting federal agencies and gutting help to you. Now, this is in violation of our actual social contract, which promises, you know what, a more perfect union, but also domestic tranquility and also the general welfare of the people. Federalist 1 by Alexander Hamilton, a general introduction written in 1787. Again, Alexander Hamilton was our founding father, literally the father of our financial system. So this actual American positions that this idea, so ending the Articles of Confederation and transitioning into this new United States Constitution, will add the inducements of philanthropy to those of patriotism, okay? Philanthropy to patriotism. Do we know what philanthropy means? Yes, philanthropy means the desire to promote the welfare of others, expressed especially by the generous donation of money to good causes. Now, this is supported by our preamble that says that we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish all of this, including to promote the general welfare of the people. But conservatives were like, no, we don't like this part of the Constitution, so we're not going to abide by it. We're not going to abide by it. We're actually going to gut everything that's going to give back to the people, because we see, as Republicans and conservatives, we see the people as a means to an end. A means to an end that is a powerful government that actually concentrates all of that wealth away from the people, But don't let me tell you, let Mike Johnson and the Republicans tell you themselves. And their 7 core principles, one of them is limited government. That's their number 2. But where I want us to pay attention to is the end. The best protection against government legacy. I don't even know how to say that. It's so fancy. I think because a lot of people will just read it and say, hey, that sounds correct. Not gonna Google it. Is an engaged and informed electorate. What does that mean? That the best way to what? So largesse is liberal giving as of money to or as if to an inferior. So it's philanthropy. It's a philanthropist known for his largesse. So Federalist 1, our little founding principles, our North Star of American principles, values, and systems are telling us that the Constitution literally incorporates philanthropy into that of patriotism. But yet the conservatives have been hell-bent on saying, no, we refuse to acknowledge this part of our constitutional supremacy. Which is wild, because if Americans actually knew American constitutionalism, they'll know that the government does not give handouts because the government does not have money. The money belongs to the people, and the government is a means to an end. That is for the public good. That is a socialist good, because the public good is a socialist good. Capitalism is a means to an end. That is the socialist good, the public good. It tells us here. This very same Federalist paper tells us in the next line, happy will it be if our choice should be directed by a judicious estimate of our true interests, not as people, but as the collective, the social contract, unperplexed and unbiased by considerations not connected with the public good. And Alexander Hamilton tells us as much in Federalist 78 when he says that, nor does this conclusion by any means suppose the superiority of the judicial to the legislative powers, so the courts are not superior to Congress, no the other way around. It only supposes that the power of the people is superior to both, and that where the will of the legislature, so of Congress, declared in its statutes and its laws, stands in opposition to that of the people, not our public opinion, declared in the Constitution, so our social contract, Article 6 Supremacy Clause, the judges ought to be governed by the latter rather than the former. So always governed by the Constitution and not by the legislation. That's definitely not what they did in Anderson versus Trump, but okay. And let me tell you another flat out lie that they put in number 4, peace through strength. It says the first obligation of the federal government is to provide for the common defense of the United States. This is false. Let's look at the preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense. So that's what? I guess you can say number 3, but if you want to be really conservative, you can say it's number 4. What we know is that it's not number 1. So no, it's not the first obligation of the federal government. And with that, we've learned that this little department has nothing to do with American constitutionalism or adapting to our preamble, but rather a takeover of our country, a takeover in order to remove the Constitution, a takeover in order to make us into the corporate states of America. But we will not allow for that. We will not allow for that because now you know the values, now you know the principles, and you know they are not Republican. You know they are not conservative. They are strictly American constitutionalist. And this entire administration, this entire department is against our very principles that are outlined in our American constitutionalism text. So that means it is anti-American, it is anti-constitution, and it must be stopped, it must be removed, and that's it.